Candace tries to find a way not to associate Trump with Epstein, even though there's hundreds of pictures. We know that they were friends for a couple of decades, and there's pictures of them with Melania and Ghislaine. But hey, there's no way Trump can be a part of the whole Epstein thing, even though he doesn't want to release them files. But I digress. So it's funny that Candace has been shown Trump's ass because he has not came out and said anything about that Macron lawsuit. So let's go ahead and take a listen to how Candace is trying to spin this whole narrative and say that, oh, yeah, that's a whole lie about Trump and Epstein and Melania. Let's get into it, y'all. Here we go. Trust me, the way that Candace protects predators like Harvey Weinstein, Russell Brand, Andrew Tate, or the Tate brothers, how she defends them, it's no surprise to this. She don't care about protecting children. That's all some bullshit, right?
Now tell you that in which is kind of similar to these presidential lawsuits that are happening. In case you missed it, Melania Trump, who I like very much, honestly, she's my favorite Trump. She really is my favorite Trump. And, you know, when she speaks, I think she's very dignified and she's very powerful. And when she tends to take a very strong stance, it's because someone has, first and foremost, the first time she did it was because they were going after her son. She was like, absolutely not. Barron is underage. They were, I think, accusing him at the time of having autism. The press was just so vicious and disgusting that they just couldn't leave him alone because they hated Trump so much. And they just wanted every layer of Trump's life to be destroyed. And she took a very dignified stance against that. And she has really shown herself to be the like, mama, don't play that. Well, we were showing you clips of Hunter Biden's interview, and he discussed the Jeffrey Epstein saga and was very much saying, is anybody supposed to believe that this guy just got away with this and that they don't know, they don't have more information? Honestly, Milo Yiannopoulos said, and I don't think that we have, maybe we did actually show that interview with him, where he says that he was coming off like he's the natural heir to MAGA, like he doesn't really care and he's just saying everything and he's had enough and he's going after people in the press. He's going after George Clooney. He's going after his own side and calling those people fake.
And by the way, I've been enjoying all the clips I've been seeing Hunter Biden talking this shit because rightfully so, he should. This whole time they've been calling Hunter Biden a crackhead. He's a former crackhead. He's not a current crackhead, y'all.
Jake Tapper. It was a refreshing interview, no doubt. But in that interview, I kind of forgot that Hunter Biden suggested that Jeffrey Epstein was the person that introduced Melania to Trump. Obviously, that is a serious allegation, not one that exactly caught fire, but given everything and how angry people are about Jeffrey Epstein and what he actually is, you can understand why Melania Trump does not want that association, especially if it's not true. So she sent him a cease and desist. It was big news, and said, I will sue you for $1 billion if you do not say that this information is both false and defamatory. Essentially, you need to go back on your word here and clarify things. Well, Hunter Biden responded to her threat of lawsuit. He went back onto Andrew Callahan's show, and here is what he had.
It's quite funny how the president, and not just the president, but now his first lady, is threatening to sue everybody. And it's all like, I thought we had freedom of speech in this country.
What to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, the day of presidential litigation has arrived. It's funny. Lawsuit time. In my hand is a legal demand letter addressed to Mr. Hunter Biden from the First Lady of the United States, demanding a retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Returns, in which Mr. Biden here makes some speculative comments about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, Melania Trump, and Donald Trump.
Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the president met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
And he's talking about Michael Wolff, and we're going to listen to what he said on Don Lemon's show.
Wolff.
Yeah.
And so I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know.
He didn't make these claims out of nowhere. They come from another journalist named Michael Wolff, who is a biographer that actually spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. But now here we are. And I've got $1 billion document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down. And if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein?
That. That's not going to happen.
There you have it. He says, F that. That's not going to happen. I think this is why I think
Hunter Biden for president.
when Milo said that he's a natural heir to MAGA, it's because he's basically, first and foremost, it is a valid argument that it was published in a book by if this is something that Michael Wolff, which I think Michael Wolff is an absolute disaster, and he's lied a lot. And I still don't know why Trump granted him any access. I remember I was very frustrated by that in the first term when he wrote that big book and said he spoke with Trump and that he heard whatever. He was a liar. There's no question that Michael Wolff is a liar. And I actually believe, Melania, that this is a lie because so many other things he put in that book was a lie. But it does follow that you would have to sue Michael Wolff for having published that or having said that, whatever it is, before you could go for somebody for repeating what that person has published. And
why don't they want to sue Michael Wolff? Is it possibly because he has over 100 hours of recordings with Jeffrey Epstein himself, because he was going to write a biography about Jeffrey Epstein? Is that what it is? They don't want that 100 hours of recordings to finally come out to the public that will expose the real relationship between Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Because during those interviews that Michael Wolff was doing with Jeffrey Epstein, he knew stuff currently going on in the administration. How do you know stuff going on in the administration if you and Trump are not friends anymore? Make you think, right?
So, yeah, I do think that a lot of times we need to remember that he was not acting in bad faith. If he read it and he believes that it's real, it would be very hard for her to achieve the actual malice standard. She's saying it's not real. Michael Wolff is saying it is real.
Oh, just like you read shit and you believe that it's true, like Brigitte Macron is a man, even though she's not. Yeah.
Again, I tend to believe Melania because I think she's very dignified and she's angry. And that's the reason why she wrote this letter. But it is incumbent upon you to go after Michael Wolff, which I think we would all love to see, to be quite honest with you. I think he's showed that he has a lot of ties to the deep state. And I think that book was really done because the deep state was trying to get Trump out of there. I really do believe that that's the reason that they did it. And that's the reason why Trump is surrounded at this moment, because he's just handed over the reins to the deep state, as evidenced by the fact that he is letting go of the Jeffrey Epstein story. And I'm sorry, I cannot at all say that I feel that Melania has been harmed by the Jeffrey Epstein story more than the Americans have been harmed by her husband's refusal to look further into this. So I really like Melania. I hope that, I know how she feels as a mother, obviously, and I hope that she can perhaps communicate to Trump that this is unacceptable. You know, if you want to be the leader of the free world, if you want to be the president of the United States, then you are going to have the gumption to tell Americans the truth. We know the truth already, so you might as well just say it.
Yeah, we know he in them damn files. Oh, hold on. Allegedly, we know that he's in those damn files. You know, that's what we know. The Wall Street Journal said Pam Bundy, the attorney general, told him, like, hey, you in these files. This is why there's a whole bunch of cover up and shit like that. But of course, Candace doesn't want to tell that part. But let me go ahead and play you Don Lemon's interview with Michael Wolff. Shout out to Don Lemon. I love Don Lemon's show. Like, there's nobody left-leaning or on the left doing it like Don Lemon, you know? And I feel like we need more Black people in the political space. We really don't have that. You know, there's Roland Martin and, you know, Don Lemon and Roland Martin. There's also Sabby, but she's a crazy leftist, even though I respect her opinion. Brianna Joy Gray, she's a crazy leftist, but I respect her opinion. Even, you know, Roland Martin, I got a love-hate relationship because some of the stuff he be talking, I'll be like, that's trash. That's a trash opinion. But, you know, granted, they Black people, so I give them I'll give them their credit, right? But here we go, y'all.
He's not backing down. Should he be worried?
No, I don't. It would seem to me that Hunter Biden at this point is probably libel proof. They've gotten all they can probably get out of Hunter, and I think I mean, hell, who wouldn't chip in $1 or $5 to fund a lawsuit that would
I would.
make Donald Trump answer questions about Jeffrey Epstein? Hell, that's I mean, to me, this is a crazy strategy. I mean, I guess it's a strategy because they believe the media, which is a beaten dog at this point, will just roll over. But if you don't roll over, and I see no reason certainly why Hunter Biden should roll over for Donald Trump, then this is unsustainable. Putting Donald Trump and Melania Trump under oath to answer questions about their relationship, a very well documented relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
The whole process of discovery, which you talk about as well, it would be interesting. And you just went, Donald Trump would perhaps have to be deposed, and that may lead to the uncovering or the revealing of documents that they have been trying to keep private by not releasing.
Ding, ding, ding. And this is what they're trying to hide. Let's sue Hunter Biden, who didn't put that information out there. He just repeated what was said by Michael Wolff. But notice they don't want to sue Michael Wolff because he got the answers.
The Epstein files. Now, one more. I want to play one more from Hunter Biden. I think he has a very good point here, where he says, if we want to get to the bottom of what's happened, then perhaps Melania Trump has offered them a way to do it. Watch.
This is what he always does. He sues everybody and he sues them into oblivion, and he makes it so costly. But look, here's what I'm saying to the American people is, if you want to know the origin and the nature of the relationship between Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and which I have no personal knowledge of. I can only go by what has been reported. But if you want to know that nature, then let's all go figure it out together.
Of the connection to them.
I'll be the point of the tip of the spear for you.
What do you think?
Well,
I think you agree with that.
I think it would be the ultimate irony if Hunter Biden, who became one of the foundational issues of two Donald Trump campaigns, 2020 and 2024, if Hunter Biden were the person, the tip of the spear to bring down Donald Trump, that would be irony for you.
Right.
Why would Melania Trump be so upset? What is wrong with her meeting Donald Trump through Jeffrey Epstein? And I know that you explain it.
You know what? That's the other thing too. I think if she just let Hunter Biden just say whatever he said, I don't think it would have been a big deal. The fact that she's trying to fight it is weird, especially when there's accusations between her husband, Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. Like, that's bringing more light. That's bringing more attention to it. Come on now.
Very well. You say it's not necessarily a direct connection, but they were in the same social circles. They're at the same parties, and they met through their connections, both of their connections to Jeffrey Epstein. I'm correct in that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So then what's so wrong with that? If there's nothing to hide and there's nothing in there that is, can harm Donald Trump within the Epstein files, why is Melania Trump so upset about it?
Well, I can only conclude, because you're absolutely right, but I can only conclude that there is something they want to hide. They don't want people to go there. Obviously the Epstein issue, the Epstein scandal has become a flashpoint for the president at this moment in time. But as I've tried to point out in many places, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were the best of friends, joined at the hip for more than a decade. They pursued women together, girls, and they pursued business deals. Jeffrey Epstein is the window into who Donald Trump really is, where he came.
Whew. But again, there's always been that conversation that Jeffrey Epstein learned to have a whole modeling agency. He learned that from Trump, with Trump and his deal with Elite Model Agency, like that's where Jeffrey Epstein learned all that. So birds of a feather, damn, I done messed up the whole punchline before I ended the show. Damn it. Birds of a feather flock together. That's what I'm trying to say, y'all. Shout out to Don Lemon. Shout out to Candace, I guess. But anyway, y'all, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. You know, I hadn't really been talking about the Jeffrey Epstein thing too much, and it's because I don't believe that the real bomb has really dropped yet. I feel like it's coming soon enough. I love y'all for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that like button. Love y'all.